There's a kangaroo just over there, just chilling out under the tree in the shade. Don't worry mate, I'm not going to hurt you. That spot is bloody mint. Wow. Well, I think this spot will do just nicely. Honestly, it is an absolute cracker. I keep seeing some fish jumping out as well, so I think there might be trout. So if we can grab one of them for dinner, that'll be very nice. Also, lots of carps around. There's heaps of carps just around the edge here. Yeah, I did not expect to come across a spot like this. I'm definitely pleasantly surprised. And definitely what I needed for today. I really needed a nice, beautiful campsite like this just to reset my batteries. Alright guys, just want to have a quick little yarn to you about sort of what's been happening behind the scenes and what's been happening with the channel as well, because yeah, things have been pretty quiet recently. But yeah, I've just been in a bit of a weird headspace lately. Just been feeling like I've been stuck in a rut and feeling pretty unmotivated and a little bit burnt out as well. I sort of go through these little creative burnouts every now and then, but this one's been hanging around for like the last month or so, and I just haven't really been too motivated to just sort of like get out there and make content. So yeah, it's been a bit of a weird winter. Like I had all these great trips planned for winter and pretty much like none of them worked out. Like I didn't even get to do a snow video this year. Like I tried to do one with my wife Laura. We actually went down to the snow and hiked up in the snow, but we literally like got blown off the mountain. It was so bloody windy. Far out. I wish I had the camera just rolling. He'd set the tent up. We were just sort of standing back here just talking, and there was a massive gust of wind just lifted the tent up and literally blew the tent in my face. The whole tent in my face, and then just like went flying down and got caught by the trees. So we had to pull the pin on that trip, so I have to get her out on another trip soon. But yeah, I didn't get to do another snow video, and then like I wanted to try and do some sort of like outback trip over winter, like go to Northern Territory or something like that, but fortunately that didn't end up happening, and just a few other videos didn't quite work out the way I wanted them to. And also I've got some like negative comments from people as well, and usually I don't sort of let those comments get to me, but unfortunately, like, because I was already in a sort of a bit of a weird headspace, these ones kind of just got to me and just sort of made me start to second guess like what I'm doing and like whether I want to keep doing this like stuff. And I've really got to learn to just ignore the haters, ignore the trolls. Anyway, so yeah, it's just been a bit of a weird time. I've been feeling pretty burnt out as well. Like last year I put out like 30 videos or something like that, and yeah, it's a lot of work. Like, this isn't my main gig. Like I still work as a freelance photographer as my main source of income, and this stuff is just on the side. So every fortnight I try and get out and make a video, and then spend about 30 hours within that fortnight to sort of pump out the video. And it's just a lot of work, like juggling the photography as well as doing the videos. It's a lot. And so doing 30 last year, it was a pretty full-on year. Like I think I was only home for like 6 or 8 weeks last year. I was like pretty much away almost every weekend. It was crazy. So yeah, it definitely gets tough. Like I'd love to try and do this as a full-time gig one day, but unfortunately the money's just not there at the moment. Like I seem to think some people seem to think I make good money doing this, because one of the comments, the negative comments, was saying I've become a sellout or something like that. But honestly, like, I make barely any money, like, especially from like gear stuff. I make barely any money through that stuff. Like, my main source of income is through Patreon. Like, I've got a nice little Patreon community of, I think there's like maybe 100 people or so that have joined up to my Patreon. Like, honestly, I appreciate every single one of you guys who join up to my Patreon, because it really does help to get out here and make videos for you. And then the other source of income is through ad revenue. Like, between the two, like Patreon and ad revenue, isn't enough to live on. So I definitely can't do it full time just yet, unless you start to reach out to brands and try and do brand sponsorships. But that's when people start to think you become a sellout, which is a catch-22, because the only way that I can make this more free content for you guys is by reaching out to brands to do sort of brand deals. So it's funny when people get angry at you for doing stuff like that, but at the end of the day, like, this is free content, and we need to live as well. And like, living in Sydney is not cheap. So yeah, I'd love to try and get there one day, but unfortunately I'm definitely not there. So yeah, anyway, it's just a few things like that. There's also been a few little personal things been going on over the last sort of year or so that I haven't really sort of spoken about too much, and everything's just compiled over the last month, and it's just been a bit of a tough month. And that's a big fish. But yeah, it's been a bit of a tough month, and I haven't really sort of been getting outdoors. Like, there's a period there where I think I was home for like 4 or 5 weekends in a row, which is unheard of. Since I've started doing the YouTube over the last 5 years, I've never been home that long in a row. So it was actually kind of funny. Like, I started to sort of like just drift back into that kind of suburban life, and yeah, I wasn't really vibing today. I definitely started to get pretty antsy and like feeling like I needed to get back out there. I was just pretty much spending all my weekends just pottering around my garden. I was like, I need to do something with my life. So getting back out here today has been so good for me. Like, I wasn't even going to come out today, like this weekend. It wasn't until 4:30 yesterday afternoon that I decided to just pack my bag and just get out here and see what happens, because you kind of need something to sort of like break that rut. And this has honestly been so good. Like, as soon as I started walking today, just listening to all the birds and seeing the kangaroos and looking at the river and stuff, like, I just felt like all that weight on my shoulders just like slipped right off. It was really nice, and it's just amazing like how getting out into nature can just be so good for your mental health. Like, literally just like sitting under a tree by a nice like river, like, I could just sit here all day and just be content. And it's amazing that more people don't do it. Like, we're so disconnected to nature in our modern society. Like, it's crazy how disconnected we are. And just being able to just chuck the backpack on, just go into the bush, set up a nice little camp for the night, it just does a world of good. But yeah, also I chucked up a post yesterday on my Instagram just to sort of let you guys know what's been happening, and man, the response that I got from you guys was just so overwhelmingly positive. Like, you guys are absolute legends. Like, I don't know if I say this enough, but I'm just so thankful for the community that I've got on this channel. Like, everyone is just such a legend. I had like over 300 messages and private DMs and stuff from people, and they were all just so like heartwarming and positive. It was really good to see, and like really quite motivating. It's literally what motivated me to get back out here. So I really do appreciate every one of you guys who sort of commented and said something nice. And it's just amazing to hear like the stories from people, like saying that they're going through like mental health issues themselves and like anxiety or depression and stuff, and that they would just like binge my videos just to escape and just to help them out. And like, that is such an awesome thing to hear. And also people who are like dads and mums who sit down with their kids on a Sunday morning and chuck on a walkabout video because their kids are asking for one and stuff. And like, that's just so good. Like, I just absolutely froth on that. Like, that's literally the reason I do these kind of videos, is just to encourage you guys to get out here and do this kind of stuff for yourself, or even if you can't, just to give you guys a bit of an escape, because we really need it in this fast-paced modern society. So yeah, I'm like feeling a lot more rejuvenated now being out here. So I'm looking forward to spring. I've got some really fun trips coming up in spring, so I'm pretty keen to get back on the horse and yeah, try and get some good content out for you guys. So I appreciate you guys listening to me vent. It's always nice to sort of get this stuff off the chest and just kind of reset yourself. And I think this trip has definitely done me a world of good. So I think it's about time we probably start getting camp set up, and we'll get out and go for a bit of a fish as well. Damn it, there's a trout about to grab it. As soon as I pulled it out of the water, he went to go get it. You're kidding. Wow, just a little guy had a strike at it. Oh, there he is. It's only small. What's he doing? Look at him go. Come on, come on, come on. Starting to get, oh, yes. Yeah, we're on. Nice. Oh. Spewing. Spat the lure. I don't think it was a keeper anyway. I might go back and try the bigger pool. This one's pretty shallow around here. Oh, yeah, we're on. We're on. Oh, it's the same guy. Oh, please be a keeper. Please be a keeper. Oh, it's a little redfin. Yeah, nice. These are pretty invasive fish in our waterways, so we'll definitely keep him for dinner. Yeah, it's a nice little redfin. He's not huge, but he'll definitely do for dinner. It's always good to get these guys out of the waterway. They're pretty tasty as well. Alright, we might just have some water. Jokes, it's actually like 800 mils of gin and tonic. We're not mucking around tonight. I've lost my usual sort of like little plastic pump bottle, so the old Nalgene will do. Just have to remember during the day which one's water and which one's gin and tonic. Cheers guys. That is just what the doctor ordered. You guys probably think I'm like the biggest alcoholic. I hardly ever drink. I pretty much only ever drink on these camping trips, eh? At home, hardly ever. Like I might have a beer or something on a Friday night with dinner, but that's about it. So yeah, usually save this just for nice little treats. Because I've had a few people comment in the past saying like, yeah, I'm like an alcoholic. And honestly, I hardly ever drink. I used to drink, not anymore. Oh, that is hot. You know what? One of these days we'll actually cook up in the daylight. That would be nice. I don't know if I've ever cooked up in the daylight, eh? I'm always cooking in the dark. But speaking of, come next weekend, it's actually daylight savings. So we'll try and make it our goal this summer to be organised and cook up before it gets dark. Otherwise I'm eating at like 9:30 at night, so that's never fun. Right, now let's chuck a little bit of lemon on. This is going to be so good. I've only had a redfin once before, which is the last time I was here, and I remember it being super tasty. Pretty keen to see how this goes. Alrighty-o. There is always sand on everything. I don't think I can remember the last time that I didn't camp on like a sandy beach. Let's see how she tastes. That is delicious. Honestly, that is such a nice fish. No wonder they bloody introduced it. Honestly, I reckon it could be up there with one of my favourite fishes. It's got such a nice texture. Not really fishy at all. It is really nice.
Well, good morning guys. There are so many birds here. It's such a nice place to wake up. I even had some live birds before, and I literally just had like a big eagle fly straight past camp. Like would have only been probably like 1.5 meters off the water, and it just flew straight past, which is really cool. That sun is just starting to peek its head over the ridge now, so it's probably about time we get up.
There's a platypus out there. I just saw a platypus. Oh, there he is. Let's see if I can get him on the camera. Wow, that is so cool. Oh. Damn it, I think I might have spooked him. He was just hanging around like, literally like, I don't know, 4 meters or 5 meters in front of me. But as soon as I went back to get the camera, I think he caught wind of me and he's gone back under and he hasn't come back up. That was so cool. That was I haven't seen a platypus around here before, so that's really cool. Wow. Just changed up to a little curl-tail grub. Let's see if we have any luck with this guy. I had a big trout come up to the lure I was using before, but he got spooked off, and since then I haven't seen anything else. Got some carp down here. There's actually quite a few carp here. Gosh, there's heaps in this little pool here. Come on, come on. Oh, he's having a look. Nah. They keep turning around to go get it, but then they just back off at the last minute. Yes! Yeah, we got him. Don't bust off, don't bust off. There we go. Alright, so yeah, got a pretty decent sized carp here, or mud marlin as they're affectionately known in Australia. Now, like I was saying, carp are an incredibly invasive species in Australia. They're just absolutely overtaking our waterways, so it's always good to sort of get these guys out and not release them. But I'd like to try and cook a little bit up. Now, I've heard I've heard carp, they're just like terrible eating. They basically taste like mud. But I've also heard from a few people that it really depends on what waterway you get them from. If you get them from like a muddy dam, then they're meant to taste pretty bad. But if you get them from a pretty sort of clean waterway like this, then they're not meant to be too bad. So pretty keen to give it a go. What I'll do is I'll probably fill it just a little bit off and take the skin off as well, because I think the skin's meant to be pretty bad. And we'll just cook up a little bit of a fillet, and then I think for the rest of him we'll probably just leave him on the bank somewhere, so that way an eagle throughout the day can come past and pick him up, because there's quite a few eagles flying around. So yeah, it's not exactly what I had in mind for breakfast. I've actually got pancakes in the bag, but we'll cook a little bit of this, a little bit of this up, and then we'll have pancakes after. So keen to see how it goes. Well, it's a pretty decent fillet. Let's just get the skin off. There we go, nice little fillet. Let's see how it tastes. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this Alton firebox stove to cook the fish up rather than getting a proper fire going. I haven't used this one yet. Yeah, so it's made out of titanium, and you get about 5 pieces that you can put all together and you make a nice little twig stove. So these all just slot together. Cool, so nice little titanium twig stove. And that actually looks like a really nice piece of fish, eh? It's got a really nice texture to it, which is not what I expected. I'm actually very keen to see what this is going to taste like. Alright, let's see how the texture is. Oh, there's a few bones in there. Doesn't seem too bad. Alright, let's give it a taste. I'm actually a little bit nervous to try this, eh? There's a few little bones. That's sweet. Honestly, I've had worse fish. Yeah, wow, okay. I'm definitely surprised. Like I said, maybe it sort of depends on the kind of waterway that they're living in. This is a relatively clean waterway, so it seems like they taste fine. Like I said, if you were to batter this or like put some lemon juice and some Kewpie mayo or something on it, it would actually be really tasty. There are a few little bones, but apart from that, alright, there were quite a few bones in that part. Yeah, but honestly, the flavour is completely sweet. There are a few bones, that's the only thing, but maybe I didn't really fillet it properly. But I think with a bit of practice, you could definitely like sort of learn how to fillet this properly, and it's actually not that bad at tasting. Yeah, but honestly, that flavour is completely sweet. Well, there you go. The humble carp, eh? Just goes to show, don't always listen to what everyone else says, because quite often people just jump on the bandwagon and like to sort of like rip on something without actually ever trying it themselves. And that's honestly pretty good. And if we can sort of change the culture around eating carp in Australia and not just like dismiss it like most people do, then it'd definitely go a long way to sort of getting rid of carp out of our waterways and make it a bit more of a desirable fish to go and catch. Well, there you go. Pleasantly surprised. It's no pancakes, but it's not bad. I really like cooking over these little twig stoves. You can just control the heat so much easier than cooking over like an actual campfire. And I'm not a big fan of sort of using like the gas stoves. I find the heat on those are just like, it's too condensed to just the center, and you don't get a nice even burn. Whereas nice with these twig stoves, you get nice even heat distribution, and you can control the heat so much easier. I really need some sort of spatula. It's so hard to flip these with a knife. Oh, it's not too bad. Well, I think they're probably some of the best pancakes I've cooked out in the bush. They're actually not too burnt for once. Just chuck on some maple syrup. Oh man, this looks so good. Well, this is definitely the trip that I needed. This has done such a good job just to like reset me. Yeah, just like sitting under these beautiful casuarinas, just listening to the birds, looking out at the water. It does so much for the soul, hey? It's so good. I've really come to love rivers. Like, I've grown up on the coast my entire life, and I live on the coast and always spent so much time around the ocean, but as I've gotten older, I've really come to love being in the mountains by a river. It's just something so peaceful about it. It's really beautiful. I had such a nice night last night. I was just sitting by the campfire after I put the camera away, and there's just enough moonlight out that's sort of like lighting up the ridges, and there's still some stars out, and just listening to some music and had a gin and tonic in hand, and it was like therapy. It was just such an awesome night. I tend to find that as well, like some of my best memories have been out in the bush are literally like after I've turned the camera off and I'm just sitting by a campfire, just deep in my own thoughts and just staring off into the flames. Like you just get into trance and just you start to like just think about your life and become really appreciative as well. I find when I'm out here I really start to like realize how lucky I am and how appreciative I am of everything I've got in my life. It really is like therapy. I'm so fortunate. Like, a very, very lucky bloke. I don't take any of this for granted. It's kind of weird, sort of, I don't know, sharing your thoughts to a camera and then knowing that that is going to be watched by tens of thousands of people. It's kind of strange, but I don't know. I think if I can inspire like at least one person to get out here and do this kind of stuff, and they get some sort of like meaningful enjoyment from it, I think then that's definitely worthwhile. I think going forward, I definitely have to sort of check in with myself every now and then just to make sure I'm not getting burnt out and that I'm still doing this for the right reasons. And I've got to stop like comparing myself as well. That's the one thing you tend to do when you're in the kind of YouTube world, is you just constantly compare yourself to other people out there, and there's no point trying to be someone you're not. Alright, well, the camera battery died, so it's probably as good a sign as any to start wrapping things up. So yeah, I just want to say like a massive thanks to all you guys for tuning in, like especially this video and just listening to me like vent for the last 2 days. And it has been really good to get a few things off my chest and just kind of let you guys know what's been happening behind the scenes. And this has definitely been a really good trip just to sort of like recharge the batteries and just remind me why I really enjoy getting out here and making this kind of content for you guys. So really do appreciate all your support. I've got such an awesome community, and like it just goes to show over the last few days, it's definitely like reaffirmed that, reconfirmed that. And yeah, you guys are just absolute legends. And it still blows my mind that there's so many of you guys out there actually want to watch me stumble around the bush. It's actually kind of crazy, but yeah, I really appreciate every single one of you guys. So on that note, let's wrap this one up. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Hooroo.